Everybody, it is your Drip King Jimmy Baby, and I'm here to give you that WWE Monday Night Raw recap. And what we had tonight was a so-so show, but we got some very, very good stuff to go over, and a very, very exciting bit of breaking news that may or may not be true, that ties into a segment that seems a little strange at first, but then made sense afterwards. So let's get right into the show. It kicks off with our WWE Champion, Bobby Lashley. He's coming out to talk about the Elimination Chamber, which is this Saturday. He's just running off the typical, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna win, yada, yada, yada. Out comes Seth Rollins. He gives a lot of the same stuff. Then we get Matt Riddle coming out. A lot of the same stuff. Just a tad bit of the comedy thrown in there with it. Then we had Austin Theory come out, and he's running his mouth, doing his thing. AJ Styles, you guessed it, came out and did his thing. Then Bobby Lashley just goes to each and every single one of them and starts running them down, one by one, by one, by one, by one. Not to anybody's surprise here, Bobby Lashley was a little bit off with the delivery here, stuttering and stumbling over his own words. I can't criticize him too much. I do some of it. I just did it right there. I do some of it myself here, but yeah, you could definitely see this is not his element, and the talking should just be left to MVP. As he gets to Brock Lesnar, you guessed it, out comes Brock Lesnar, and he comes out and he's in his little get-up and his cowboy hat. He gets in the ring. He puts his cowboy hat on Austin Theory. He puts his jacket on his shoulder. He's using Austin Theory as a coat rack. Good stuff. Brock don't even have to speak, and he's just hitting these little comedy spots just right on the head. As he turns around, gets face to face with Bobby, Austin Theory, he takes a selfie, like a little quick selfie of himself as the hat rack in the Brock Lesnar get up. And then as Brock gets right up to Bobby, he just jumps on Brock, over jumps him completely, and then everybody scatters and Brock just takes Austin Theory to Suplex City. He finishes it with the F5, then goes and gets Austin Theory's cell phone, picks Austin Theory up, takes a selfie for him so he can add it to the collection, and then the segment ends with Bobby Lashley holding the WWE title. This segment probably went on a little too long. It was very, very WWE way to start the show. It wasn't fantastic. The best part was literally just the Austin Theory, Brock Lesnar stuff. It was good. It will be very fun to see Austin Theory get that ass whooped in the chamber on Saturday. From there, we get a Street Profits vs. Dirty Dogs tag team match. You've seen this before. You don't need to watch this one. It was nothing special at all. Very interesting though. We had Tommaso Ciampa on the commentary. At one point, he throws whatever Montez is carrying, that cup, right in Dolph's face. This allows Bobby Roode to get pinned. 1, 2, 3. Afterwards, Dolph Ziggler super kicks Tommaso Ciampa. He goes in the ring, he avoids the Street Profits, and then they leave. That's a segment. This was more, I think, to just set up Dolph Ziggler, Tommaso Ciampa, maybe for Vengeance Day tomorrow on NXT. I'm not sure. I don't follow NXT that much anymore, but I know they got something going on over there. Or maybe it's just a way to bring Tommaso Ciampa to the main roster. Raw is a weird place to put him. I think SmackDown needs people more, but it is what it is. That's the way she goes. From there, we go to the backstage where we get the RK Broga party. We got Apollo Crews, we got Commander Aziz, we got Queen Zelina, Carmella, and they're just having a good time. There's multiple segments of this RK Broga party. It basically 1, 2, 3. By the time we get to the third one, Alpha Academy crashes the party and attacks Riddle. Everyone scatters, and then Riddle gets the guitar that he was playing to the gut, and I think maybe to the back. Don't remember exactly. But those were the 3 segments. Knock them out right there. That's all it was. From there, though, after that first segment, we get a Kevin Owens backstage promo. And when this was happening, it felt a little just out of place and weird, because they're playing on the whole people of Texas wanted to see Kevin Owens at WrestleMania. He's not going to have a match at WrestleMania. He might not even be at WrestleMania. Okay, where are you going with this? Now, he just basically runs down Texas, talking about he hates Texas, yada yada this, yada yada. And again, when I watch this, love Kevin Owens. That's my guy. I was like, what the fuck was that? Then, about 30 minutes after this, I'm going to go ahead and break it right now. The news broke that WWE is reaching out to none other than Stone Cold Steve Austin for a match at WrestleMania. Whether or not this is true, I'm hyped. I am hyped. I'm going to WrestleMania. You're going to hear me screaming like a little girl, just going giddy, giddy, giddy when that glass breaks. And to see him go in, it reminds me of the Undertaker John Cena match a few years ago. Stone Cold come in, do the greatest hits, get the 1, 2, 3 on Kevin Owens. The fans will go crazy. It's an awesome moment. That's what I'm expecting if this is true. And it has me just... My girl was like, "Are you okay?" I was swelling up. I'm so excited of just the possibility of this happening. And after that news broke, the whole Kevin Owens running down Texas thing made so much sense at that point. And that's why I had to throw in the Stone Cold news, just so that made sense. And it's now definitely worth a watch with that news to go with it. I won't go too far into the Stone Cold thing because it's just a rumor at this point, and I'll save that for another day. So back to the Raw recap, in which we got the AJ Styles Damian Priest United States title match. I feel like last week's match was better. It was okay. It ended when AJ went to go with a phenomenal forearm. Priest saw it coming, so he grabbed the ropes. AJ landed, did his little front roll, and then Damian Priest flipped over him, rolled him up. 1, 2, 3. Damian Priest gets the win. AJ's like, okay. Damian Priest was very proud of himself. Nice little nod to each other. Again, if you saw last week's match, you could skip through this because this one was nothing. It doesn't top that one. It's just different winner, and it was Damian Priest. So that's good. Damian Priest is going into WrestleMania with the United States title. He should. After that, we get a therapy session with Alexa Bliss, in which the therapist lays out the stuffing from which Charlotte Flair ripped up, and that's what caused Alexa Bliss to just go absolutely crazy. He then presented her with a fake Alexa Bliss with a zipper in the back, in which they're insinuating you can take what was left of the real Lily and put it in this fake Lily. So they're still going with this Lily stuff. They gotta push that product. Money talks. But strangely enough, Alexa Bliss is still kind of playing to that, leaning towards the old Alexa Bliss a little bit. And then they had another segment later on in which they accomplished the goal of putting the stuffing in Alexa. The therapist said she's cured, and then she said, "Oh, okay." And then she announced herself for the Elimination Chamber match at Saudi. She will be the 6th member of the women's match, and we'll get to more of that in a minute. But so the graphic shows Alexa Bliss as her old self. She's acting a little bit like her old self, just with Lily in tow. We're not getting that schoolgirl looking Alexa. So it's very interesting how they're going with this, and we will see in the next maybe week or two how it will play out. Alexa Bliss back in the ring though. I'm excited. I'm pumped. She's one of my favorites. So I'm glad this therapy stuff is done. It has not been clicking for me, and I'm just excited it's over with. Back in the ring. Give me more Alexa Bliss. Away from the couch therapy session nonsense. No more of that. From there, we get an Omos squash match in which he just completely destroys Shelton and Cedric Alexander. I'm one of the people who's big on Omos. I think with the little bit they do, I think he looks good with what he does. As long as they don't stretch the matches out, they make him quick, they make him look strong. They're building him up the way they should, and he looks better and better each time I see him. That's me. Some people don't share that opinion. Nonsense on you. You don't know what you're talking about. After that, we get a 24/7 segment in which we had one earlier in the night, and no, this was the first one. My bad. Scratch that. I apologize. But it's a date night with Dana Brooke and Reggie, and then there's another one later on in which the typical Kira Tozawa and Tamina Snuka and R-Truth, they crash it. They go to leave. Dana Brooke says, "Thank you. You've done this so much for me. You're my best friend." Reggie's like, "I think we should take this friendship to the next level." And then I guess she turns him down. I wasn't paying too much attention because I'm over the 24/7 nonsense with Reggie and Dana. And then basically she denies him, I guess. So then he rolls her up and takes the 24/7 title. He goes, "Benefits of being friends." And then he leaves, skips out, and sticks Dana with the bill. That's cold. Reggie on Valentine's Day. That is so cold. But that's what that was. That ending part was probably the best part of the segments for 24/7. But I wish they'd find something new to go with because I'm over Reggie and I'm over Dana as 24/7 champion. But she's not champion anymore, so maybe we are moving from that. Anyway, back to the main part of the show. We get Elita and Becky Lynch contract signing. We see a very different side of Becky Lynch. She comes out just looking not drip queenish at all. She is not the Vincent Van Gogh. She comes out looking all scraggly and bummish. Says she hasn't slept or anything from a week ago in which the girl she idolizes, a teenager, attacked her and left her in the ring. And then she tries to talk Lita out of not doing the match. Lita signs and says, I don't have just one last match. I have one last run and I'm going to be the champion. So then Becky signs it. She goes, basically insinuates she's going for Lita's neck because that's the weak spot. And she's coming hard for it. And then she walks off as a broken person. If you remember Rollins from the Messiah era where he was broken, that's what it reminded me of. It reminded other people on the Twitter machine of that because they're posting pictures of Seth and Becky as broken down. Becky just doing more good character work. That's what she does. That's what she's awesome at. Lita was a lot better this week than she was last week because last week she was just god awful. I'm still excited to see this match. Becky's winning, but it would be fun to see Lita get in there and mix it up with one of the new girls. After that, we go to a gauntlet match to see who will be the last entrant into the Elimination Chamber for the women's match. This match happens prior to the second therapy session, so Alexa Bliss is not involved in this. They're not going to put her on Raw before they put her in the Elimination Chamber. So Rhea Ripley starts off with Nikki Ash. They go back and forth. I thought it was a decent match. It went on. They gave it a little bit of time. Rhea Ripley wins. From there, Rhea Ripley takes on Liv Morgan, in which this match gets a little bit of time as well. Very good match. Rhea Ripley wins. From there, she takes on Doudrop. This match gets some time. Very entertaining. Very, very entertaining. At this point, Rhea Ripley is looking like the Rhea Ripley we've all been missing. She's looking like a star. She is looking like the badass that she is. She gets the Riptide on Doudrop. 1, 2, 3. Gets the win. So that means Rhea Ripley is taking on Bianca Belair at this point. And these girls have another. This was the best of the 4 matches. And Rhea Ripley, again, in each match just looked like the Rhea Ripley from NXT. I'm excited that she's back. I'm excited that she's found her mojo, her groove, and she's catching that momentum at the perfect time. Her and Bianca just showed out. Bianca ended up getting the win because Rhea was at this point just gassed. The KOD was so nice on Rhea Ripley because, you know, she's a bigger woman. She's a very intimidating woman. And it was so impressive to see. And Bianca gets the win, so she's the last Elimination Chamber. She's been my pick to win it since they announced this thing. And this kind of just sells it for me some more. Afterwards, they have a nice little moment together. It will be very, very fun to see these two feuding after WrestleMania when Bianca is champion and Rhea is going for it. I cannot wait, especially now that Rhea Ripley is back, baby. After that, we go to an Alpha Academy versus the Mysterios tag team match, in which before the match, Chad Gable does more of his character heel work, in which the crowd just absolutely despises this man. He's doing, if you haven't been watching Chad Gable, shame on you. Shame on you. And if you think he's doing a bad job, shush, you stupid. From there, we get a very surprisingly good tag team match between these two. Miz was out on commentary for this one. So you know he got involved there at the end. And Alpha Academy picked up the win. Afterwards, Miz comes in, throws Mysterio out. Maurice slaps Rey Mysterio Jr. And then Rey Mysterio falls right into the skull-crushing finale. Miz stands tall with his lady Maurice by his side. End of the thing. Again, the tag team match was surprisingly really good. So I recommend watching it. But that was that. Afterwards, insert the therapy session. this is where she announces that she'll be in the Elimination Chamber match after the therapist says she's cured. That's where this landed in the show. So that's why she wasn't part of the Gauntlet thing. Anyway, main event time. We getting Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins. And before I get to that, got to go back to the first segment of the RK Broga party, in which Riddle was just so disappointed. He's like, "Where's Randy?" And then Randy had an interview in which he basically was like, "I'm not going to that party." Planting the seeds a little bit more. The split's coming. Tear coming to my eye. I'm so sad about it. They're planting the seeds. It's happening. And at this point, I don't think Riddle's winning the Elimination Chamber like I originally thought. So that makes another tear come down my eye, because I really thought it was going to happen. But I always jump the gun on these things. I let my emotions get the best of me. But back to the main event. So we get a fantastic match between Seth Rollins and Randy Orton, which you should expect. These two have chemistry for days. It's amazing. I think this goes 3 segments. Towards the end of the match, though, the crowd is completely hot for Randy. Like, he is the most over babyface, I think, right now in the company. But back to the end of the match. Randy, he ends up hitting the RKO, and it's like, oh damn, he gonna beat Seth. And then all of a sudden, Alpha Academy's music hits. They start coming down to the ring. Riddle for the save comes out, attacks Chad Gable. Otis starts attacking Riddle. Randy plays good guy buddy and decides to go help Riddle, which I'll get to this afterwards. So Randy goes down, helps him. He takes care of the Alpha Academy, and then he goes back into the ring. When he slides in the ring, goes to get up. Guess what's waiting for him? The stomp. Randy gets stomped. Seth Rollins gets the win, and then that's the match. That's the show. Ends with Rollins laughing and laying out on the announcer's table. He's feeling himself. At this point, he's my new pick to win the Elimination Chamber, but that's besides the point. Back to the Riddle, Randy Orton stuff. With Randy actually making the save and putting his match with Seth to the side in favor of Riddle has me really thinking we are done with this fun version of Riddle, and he will be the one that eventually turns on Randy. And double tear. This makes me even more sad, because I've been pushing the thought that Riddle could do this, and now it looks like we're not even gonna get the chance to see it. But that's for another day. That's the show. I've just saved you 2 hours and 43 minutes because we just hit the 17-minute mark. So I appreciate you guys watching. As always, you know to like the video. You should be subscribed by now to WrestleBuddy and the Drip King, Jimmy Bebe, where I just released a new video for WrestleMania matches. And all the other stuff on WrestleBuddy, because it's all good stuff. We got lists, we got interviews. You should be checking them out. And yeah, that's the show. So I will see you on Thursday for the AEW Dynamite recap. And hopefully it's just as fun as last week's, because if you saw last week's, you saw just how hype and excited I was. But we'll see. That comes Thursday, and I will see you then. So goodbye. Boom.